Hey guys, welcome into your 35-minute kettlebell conditioning workout today. We're getting started warming up right now. So as you can see, I'm just getting everything feeling good with some neck circles. You don't have to do these any particular direction, but just get some nice full range of motion circles in there. And then we'll switch to your mid back. So giving yourself a hug to start. You're going to flex your spine forwards and backwards, and then you'll start making these big circles, thinking about initiating the movement from the middle of your back. Moving on. Next step, we're doing shoulder circles, so just starting with one at a time, just moving our shoulders backwards. I'm just holding on across my chest here to make sure my torso isn't moving around too much as I'm going through these. So starting backwards, trying to keep that arm fairly straight the entire time. And we'll reverse forwards. Okay, and then moving into some goalpost rotations just to really get your shoulders feeling loose and warmed up here. If you're kneeling like I am with these, think about squeezing your glutes and keeping your core engaged. So next we'll stand up and we're going into some knee circles. Try to keep your feet as close together as you can. And if you feel too much popping or clicking, just don't go down quite as far, so you'll reduce the range of motion. But really trying to make full circles with your knees, starting small and gradually getting bigger. I'm just throwing in a few knee rocks here to warm up my feet and my ankles. You can keep your hands planted on the ground for those. And from here, we're getting to the end of our joint rotations, but we'll just get the hips warmed up, get some hip swivels in there, one leg at a time. Drawing big circles with your knee. And we'll switch sides, get going on that other knee. And your toes can be pointed or flexed here. It doesn't matter, just whatever your personal preference is. One might feel like it engages your glute more than the other. And from there, we're just going to warm up our wrists a little bit since we'll be doing a fair amount of planking today, starting with some wrist rocks. So just flipping your palms different directions, kind of play with it, just see where you feel the best stretch. Curl your fingers into fists, hold for a second at the top. And then push up on your knuckles to feel a really good stretch in your forearms. The hair is going up as we move on with this warm-up. So getting into some thoracic rotations here, you'll start on all fours. Left hand goes behind your head, and you're trying to reach your right knee with your left elbow. These should be fairly slow, fairly easy, not a lot of effort. You're not straining your muscles to reach towards a certain point. And other side. Remember to keep breathing here. Take some big belly breaths as we're getting warmed up. Couple more here. All right, moving on. Sun in my eyes. We've got some dead bug opposite knee hand presses. So with your left hand, you'll press into your right knee, keeping that 90-degree angle as you go. And you're pressing your knee as hard as you can into your hand, hand into your knee to really keep that tension. And you should feel your core start to activate after about 5 per side of these. Next up, we've got some single leg glute bridges with a knee squeeze. So squeezing your left knee as hard as you can into your chest, driving through your right heel. Your right toes are soft. Hold for 1 to 2 seconds at the top and keep squeezing your butt even on the way down. Switch sides. We'll go for about another 8 to 10 on the second side. Nice work, almost there. Okay, moving on to the next exercise. We've got what we call king squats. So this is just to warm up our lower bodies. Start with the bodyweight squat, push your hips back, and then you'll hinge up. So squat, hinge, drive through your heels, come all the way up. You should be thinking about spreading the floor apart with your feet during your squat. So now we'll reverse the motion and hinge first and then squat yourself back up. Hinge, squat, drive through your heels all the way to standing. And a couple more warm-up exercises here. We're almost done. If you have a band, put it just right above your knees. If you don't, that's fine. And we'll go into some single leg standing banded clamshells. So keeping your core engaged, this is a really great ankle stabilizer. We're doing a countdown of our clamshells and then an opposite toe reach. Going for 3 here, and then reach down, and we'll continue with this countdown for 2 and then 1 consecutively. Keep that left knee pushing out, don't let it come in. And same thing on the opposite side now, so keeping your right leg nice and stable, keeping your core engaged. And as you're bringing your knee out to the side, you can see that it's slightly behind my planted foot as I wobble over. So your knees aren't directly in line with each other. It's a little bit canted back. And that way it will engage your middle butt, your middle glute, a little bit more as we're doing this. Nice work, almost there. Okay, take the band off. Last thing here, just to get some power into our warm-up and get our heart rates up, we're going into some hinge jumps. So these aren't quite squat jumps. We're not going into a squat, but you're thinking about keeping your knees a little bit straighter and then pushing your hips back. Okay, nice work. We will get into the workout after this. All right, starting with the first exercise for the workout. We've got 60 seconds here of a push-up to deadlift to kettlebell swing. So we're starting with that push-up movement. Knees can be on the ground if you want. Hands can be on the ground if you want. The kettlebell push-up is just another variation here. And we're going for 60 seconds. We've got about 8 different exercises, and we'll have 15 seconds of rest between each one. So continuing on, almost done with the minute here. You can see I've gone down to my knees for that last one. Remember to keep your core engaged as you deadlift up and as you swing. Okay, take your 15 seconds of rest here. Shake your legs out. And I have some curious onlookers here that I'm talking with. They said that they really liked my rug. So that was fun. Okay, getting into the next move, we've got a cross body single leg deadlift to suitcase deadlift. So it looks like I adjusted myself. I'm actually doing the cross body single leg deadlift correctly now. So if the kettlebell or dumbbell is in your left hand, you'll reach towards your right foot and vice versa. Switch sides here. For that suitcase deadlift, drive through your heels. You should be feeling all of this in your hamstrings and in your glutes. And there's a lot of sneaky core in today's workout. Next up, grabbing your dumbbells, we've got some snatch to overhead press work. Tucking the shirt in because snatches. So overhead, and then we're doing an alternating press all the way back down. The key with these is really just a consistent pace. They do not have to be super fast. We're not trying to set a record number of reps within this minute because a minute is actually a pretty long time to be doing high intensity work. So just take it at your own pace. Nice job. Keep going. If you only have one dumbbell, you can always just do dumbbell swings like you would a kettlebell and then press your single dumbbell overhead. Okay, 15 seconds of rest. Moving on, so grabbing a kettlebell or dumbbell and a lighter weight or no weight at all. We're basically doing a high plank with a shoulder fly. So your hand can be stabilized on the kettlebell or a dumbbell. I found that the kettlebell was actually pretty uncomfortable, so that's why I moved down. And this is also really great core work because you're trying to keep both of your hip points facing the ground, not rotating to one side. Switch to the other side. These are deceptive. They're looking a lot easier than they actually were. And come on down. Oh, nope, just kidding. Just taking a quick rest there, but we are almost done with this round, and then we'll take 15 seconds of rest before the next exercise. All right, nice job. Up next, we're grabbing our kettlebell again for some kettlebell hikes. So this is basically just a kettlebell swing with the pause in between. So each time I'm thinking about spreading the ground apart with my feet and locking my shoulders down. Right there, shoulders lock down, you're engaging your lats and wiping the sweat away. And with these, using the power of your hips is going to come in super helpful because you're using that power of your low body to thrust the bell forward. So I'm really not using my arms at all, as you can probably tell. Nice work. Take little mini breaks as needed. We're almost done with this one. Glasses weren't working so hot for me that day, and done with those. Okay, next up, we've got a kick through. So this one takes a little bit of practice, but you're basically starting in a downward dog and bringing your same side foot to that same side hand and kicking the other leg through. Take these super slow at first. As you get more comfortable with them, it's fun to add just variation in speed and in movement. Or if you just want to do a downward dog or mountain climbers, that is fine too. So you can see here, I've shifted a little bit and I'm just going side to side, which is probably like a level 1 spicy compared to level 3 or 4, just to give you some reference. So almost done with these. And rest. All right, y'all, getting into round 2. We're starting from the top. Our first exercise with those push-ups to deadlift to swing. Hopefully you are feeling relaxed or refreshed from your 60-second break. So I was a little too ambitious with that push-up. I went a little bit too low, but always remember that you can do that. You can start strong and then just modify as you go. So now obviously I've decided to ditch the kettlebell push-ups and I'm just doing a standard push-up on the ground next to it, which is fine. And that's way more preferable than giving yourself a shoulder injury by trying to balance on a kettlebell while doing a push-up. So we're taking our rest here. Next up, we've got those crossbody single leg deadlifts and then to a suitcase deadlift. Nice work. The stabilizing might feel a little bit easier on the second round now. So as the name of this video suggests, today is a lower pull, upper push, mostly workout. So that's why we're doing lots of different variations of deadlifts because those are a lower pull exercise. And then upper push is pretty self-explanatory, but doing it this way is just a really good way to break up your training cycle throughout the week and make sure that you're hitting all the movement patterns. Okay, moving on, we've got our snatch to overhead press. So you're really using your hips to help snatch and bring those dumbbells overhead. And this particular move is kind of a hybrid of a snatch swing overhead. Keeping your core tight and your butt squeezed as you do your overhead press. These definitely add up. I know I'm feeling it by now. So remember, take them at your own pace. Stop and put down your weights, shake your hands out, whatever you need to in between. Nice work, almost done with these. All right, 15 seconds of rest. And we've got our high plank shoulder flies. By now you should have a pretty good idea of what weight feels appropriate for you. So either a tiny little hand weight, I'm literally using a 2-pound dumbbell in my left hand that's moving. Body weight is also perfectly sufficient with these. And switch sides. In this high plank, remember you're squeezing your butt here too, so keeping your glutes engaged. Trying to keep both of your hips facing, wow, I'm struggling with these, facing the ground the whole time. I think these are the secret killer in the late afternoon sun. All right, come on down. Shake that out. Take your 10 seconds of rest left. And we are moving on. So for this next version of our kettlebell hikes, you can use whatever variation of a kettlebell swing you want here. So I'm just doing hand-to-hand swings to start out with, if you feel comfortable with that. If you don't, if you've never done it before, maybe don't start right out the gate with those. But if you want to try, go for it and just be aware of your bare feet if you're not wearing shoes. Same principles apply there though. Hinging your hips forward and back. So now we're going back to kettlebell hikes for this last 20 seconds or so. Nice work, almost there. Keep going. And take your rest. Shake it out. Shake the tension off. Last exercise here. We've got those step throughs, kick throughs, whatever you want to call them. These are really great for coordination, obviously, because that's the tricky part, but also core strength and hip strength to keep that foot lifted and to bring it through to the other side. Nice job, almost there. All right, you guys, we're jumping into round 3, the final round of this workout. So stay with me. Hopefully you got some water in that last break, and we're getting right into the first movement, starting at the top with your push-up, deadlift, kettlebell swing. Nice work. If you need to eliminate any part of this for the last round, if you feel like your form is getting kind of sloppy, definitely do so. Some ideas for that would be, like I said, push-ups can be on your knees. You can do an elevated push-up on a table or bench or something, and then just do the kettlebell swing and deadlift separately. Really, the options are endless. Almost done here. Okay. Finishing up. And take your 15 seconds of rest. Looks like I am struggling on this third round. It is hot out there, even though it's March. But we're just getting right into this second round of our opposite toe, opposite reach, single leg deadlift. I'm adjusting a little bit on this third round to more of a split stance deadlift. So what you do for that is you're still reaching across your body, but your back foot will just be slightly propped up. As you can see, I'm on my toes. And the reason for that is just to give you the same stability benefits, but keeping it a little bit more controlled if you can feel yourself fatiguing. Nice work with this. Still driving through your heels and squeezing your butt at the top. Okay, we are done with those. Grabbing your dumbbells next for this last brutal third round of our snatch to overhead press. Keeping your core nice and strong. You're not arching your lower back too much as your arms come up overhead. So keeping your pelvis tucked just a little bit will keep your core engaged. Good work here. If you start getting tired, try focusing on your breath. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. All right, nice job. I think I'm pretty glad to be done with those. Setting up for our plank fly. And taking the glasses off for this one. If you've been using a weight for the fly and you feel like that's too much, feel free to just drop it and just stick with body weight for this. So you would just raise your hand out to the side, but you're not just flopping it out. You're focusing on squeezing your shoulder blade at the top, holding for about 1 second. And switch sides. Almost there, getting through this round. Like I said, a lot of sneaky core work in today's workout. Okay, shake that off. And grabbing your kettlebell for the next exercise. Again, this round is kind of a choose your own adventure round, so I'm going to go into single arm swings with this. If you want to try this, same principles apply. So you're squeezing your butt at the top, keeping your arm fairly straight at the top of the position as you push your hips forward. And switch sides if you have not already. Keep it going. Stay strong through that lower body. This third round is usually where you have to start digging pretty deep. And rest. We've got one more exercise after this, just those downward dog to kick throughs. Here we go. Get started. Feel free to switch up the pace and the intensity on this third round. If you've been doing these, you'll feel pretty familiar with the movement by now. Really visualize your obliques working as you bring the foot forward, whether it's to the front or the side. Your obliques are working, so along the sides of your torso, your core is definitely firing. You can add a reach over like I'm doing here. We are almost to the end. Great job. You made it through. Now take a second, slow down your breathing, and we will get into our stretching and a little bit of breath work at the end here. So lay on your back and pull your right knee into your chest. Hold for a few seconds and then twist it over to the opposite side of your body. Trying to keep both shoulders on the ground. And just taking some big breaths into your belly here. Give it another good squeeze and we'll switch sides. Left knee into your chest. Bring it around. Still focusing on slowing down your breath. That was a lot of work packed into 3 rounds. We'll go into happy baby here. Whatever variation feels best to you. Grabbing your ankles or your feet. This is not yoga. There's no right or wrong way to do happy baby in my classes. Gonna rock side to side, get a little bit of hip hammock action going. From there, we'll come up into a low lunge, so sink your hips forward, squeeze your left glute, and if you want to add a little bit of extra hip stretch, try and grab your left foot behind you. Try actively pressing your foot into your hands, holding that contraction, and then releasing. Switching sides here. Bring that opposite foot up if you want to try that again. few more breaths here. And then for a really good, juicy upper body stretch, clasp your hands, round your shoulders forward. You can rock side to side like I'm doing here. And then we will come down and get into some meditation as our final thing, just to really make this practice well-rounded, get you ready for the rest of your day. So just find your comfortable seat and start observing your breathing. Notice how your breath flows in and out. Make no effort to change your breathing in any way. Simply notice how your body breathes. As you sit quietly, visualize in your mind's eye your breath flowing gently in and out of your body. Start to add some movement, some neck circles here. And we'll call that good. See you in the next video, you guys. Great job.